heck is going on with the Avengers? That's a question that's on a lot of Marvel fans' minds right now. And for good reason. I mean, Marvel is changing so much behind the scenes right now. But lucky for us, we've got a ton of new reports, leaks, rumors, and comments made by insiders that are painting a picture of what's actually going down with the Avenger. Let's get into it. Okay, so first up, let's begin by talking about the actual scheduled Avenger film. And I think the first place to start is kind of what we talked about in the intro. I mean, it is all but confirmed that Avengers 5 is no longer going to be called the Kang Dynasty. Internally, Marvel is calling it Avengers 5, and according to a great many insiders, it is essentially Secret Wars Part 1. So Avengers 5 and Avengers 6 are essentially now Secret Wars Part 1 and Secret Wars Part 2. Reportedly, Michael Waldron is currently making changes to the script for Avengers 5, but if you'll recall, there were already a lot of changes being made to that script, and Michael Waldron had come in a while ago to replace Jeff Loveness and begin working on the script for Avengers 5. And this is mainly because of the Jonathan Majors situation. However, there were a lot of rumors about Marvel Studios making Secret Wars 2 parts, and these rumors are not connected to Jonathan Majors in any way. In these reports, Marvel was thinking about this massive story, this huge undertaking that they want to do with Avengers Secret Wars, and they decided they can't really do that in one movie. It really should be split up into 2 films. Either way, what you're looking at now is Secret Wars being the next 2 Avengers movies, and you're likely going to rush right to the Beyonder in Avengers 5. It's possible in the original plan, the Beyonder wouldn't show up until the end of the Kang Dynasty or reveal himself in Secret Wars, but all signs point to Beyonder being front and center in Avengers 5 and them really kicking off Secret Wars right away. Original plan was to have the Avengers Kang Dynasty be more about the current Avengers of 616, and they were likely going to be fighting against different Kang variants. The Council of Kangs was said to be the main villains of the Kang Dynasty, which kind of makes sense. But it really seems through a variety of different reports that Marvel Studios is going away from the Council of Kang. Like I said, I think they're just going to go right to the Beyonder in Avengers 5. I've heard they won't even reveal that the Beyonder is actually a Kang variant until after 616 is destroyed. So I guess what I'm saying here is I think it's more likely the case that the start of Avengers 5 will develop quickly and will involve some of the 616 characters, but likely bring in a lot more characters and a lot of different characters way faster than the Kang Dynasty would have. Because like I said, there were already a lot of reports that Marvel wanted to split Secret Wars up into 2 parts just because of how big the story is, how much crazy stuff they want to do. So I don't see them wasting a lot of time in Avengers 5 doing the beats that they were going to do in the Kang Dynasty. But I do still think that you're going to get a lot of 616 Avengers stuff, but I think it's now going to happen in a different movie. New reports from Alex Perez are suggesting that the long-rumored World War Hulk movie will now be an Avengers light movie. This is said to be similar to the way that Captain America Civil War is basically just an Avengers movie, right? It was like an Avengers light movie. Therefore, I believe a lot of Earth-bound Avengers stuff will lead up to World War Hulk, but likely also be resolved in World War Hulk. Now, there's a lot more to this, a lot of mystery around that World War Hulk movie, and I think we'll probably get more information in the coming months about that. But I think a lot of the stuff that was originally in Kang Dynasty is now going to be in World War Hulk, and that World War Hulk might just lead up perfectly to Avengers 5. So all of that is pretty wild, but I'm fairly confident that's what's going on. That is how they're going to handle this Avengers lead up and the now Avengers 5 and 6. But a big question on everybody's mind is like, who are the Avengers? And recently there's a lot of drama going on social media because people were sharing their ideas of who the Avengers are currently in the MCU. And a lot of people are like, clowning on that lineup and saying that if this is the lineup for Avengers 5, then Avengers 5 is going to fail. And a lot of this speculation and even this hate started when Alex Perez went on a tweet thread ramble thing where he was talking about who he thought the Avengers would be. But I think a lot of people are missing the context here. They're missing what's going on. That's part of why I wanted to make this video. Because Alex is speculating on who the Earthbound Avengers are. But once again, I think he's doing that in reference to the World War Hulk movie, the real next Avengers movie. Like, let me show you what I mean. Let me explain what I'm saying here. So Alex said that Spider-Man wouldn't be involved in the Avengers because he's doing his own thing in Spider-Man 4 and beyond. Alex said that Doctor Strange won't be with the Avengers because he's doing things with Clea and the Black Priest and a bunch of crazy stuff like that. And Alex also said that Thor wouldn't be a part of the Avengers because he's out doing crazy stuff in the cosmos. But Alex also literally said in that same thread that Doctor Strange has to show up to help the Avengers so that something crazy can save them in Secret Wars. And remember, Secret Wars is now Avengers 5 and Avengers 6. And Tom Holland was already reported to be the focus of the Kang dynasty, and more recently he was reportedly the focus of the next two Avengers movies. So this Avengers team that's currently the ones on Earth, which is arguably a B-level team. Like, it just is. Like, you got a lot of B-level and C-level characters there as far as, like, popularity is concerned, right? And you've got all the A-listers doing their own thing in separate films, but that's all going to culminate in Avengers 5. I think the Avengers 5 movie, just like Avengers Infinity War, will have all kinds of heroes from all different corners of the universe and maybe even multiverse. So you'll likely have Thor show up. You'll likely have Doctor Strange and his Black Priest showing up in some way, playing a significant role. And Tom Holland's Spider-Man is, I think, going to be a central focus of Avengers 5. But I also think characters like Deadpool, Hugh Jackman Wolverine, maybe even Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man will be big, heavy-hitting players in the first Avengers movie. So what I'm saying is, luckily, we don't have that kind of B-level Avengers squad. Yeah, that's not going to be the squad for Avengers 5. Thank God. But what do we really know about what characters are going to show up in which movie? I mean, it's wild enough that they've made all of these different changes, but at this point, they're talking about maybe even delaying Avengers 5, which, by the way, I still don't think is going to happen. Daniel is reporting that they're going to film at the end of next year. I think they're going to hit that 2026 mark for Avengers 5. But I understand why people think it might be delayed. There's a lot they're trying to accomplish. This is a monumental task. This is an insanely ambitious two-part movie that they're trying to make and revitalize the MCU and bring it back to the glory of Endgame. This is absolutely crazy. And things are changing a lot. But let's talk about what we know from past rumors and reports. What was reported in the past was that Tom Holland was going to be a focus of both of these movies and that Tobey Maguire and Hugh Jackman were going to be the main leads of Secret Wars. Now, people used to include Robert Downey Jr. on that list. Like, scoopers literally used to say Tobey Maguire, Hugh Jackman, and Robert Downey Jr. That's the trifecta. That's the dream team. That's what Feige wants for Secret Wars. And people have stopped talking about Robert Downey Jr. as much. I wonder why that is. Is Robert not coming back now? Is he going to play a more diminished role? Or are the scoopers just trying to kind of keep that a secret? Like, has there been this weird psyop campaign to convince fans that it's unlikely that Robert Downey Jr. would come back simply so that when Robert Downey Jr. comes back, it's an absolutely epic, awesome freaking thing? I don't really know, but I would suggest that Secret Wars Part 1, Avengers 5, will likely have Tobey and Hugh Jackman. I also think it's possible Deadpool and the TVA and maybe even Loki become involved, but that kind of feels like something that might happen in Avengers 6. And there's also all these rumors about Deadpool 3 and what the TVA is trying to accomplish and who the real villains might be out there in the multiverse. The rumors are that the TVA are trying to find prime heroes from every universe to save in this sort of Noah's Ark way to have in the brand new universe. Like, the entire multiverse is going to collapse, and then there's going to be a new universe, and the TVA is going around saving select heroes. But there are also rumors that Loki and the TVA are also secretly going around the multiverse to recruit other heroes to fight against what was originally going to be the Council of Kangs. What I imagine now is a group of villains and perhaps the Beyonder. Because there are some new rumors that you might see villains from throughout the multiverse kind of step up to the plate and replace the Council of Kang, so to speak. So the way I see this going down is you likely have an Avengers 5, which destroys the multiverse. I think the Beyonder will be there, but I think the Avengers in Avengers 5 are actually going to be fighting against some of these multiversal villains, and maybe like the Beyonder a little bit, and maybe 616 is destroyed in Avengers 5. Maybe a lot of universes get destroyed in Avengers 5. Maybe the entire multiverse is wiped out at the end of that film, but I think they are obviously saving the really big stuff for Avengers 6. They want that to be like the huge, crazy, wild movie. There are also long-standing rumors that Marvel wants to do an entire saga or at least a couple of projects in a post-multiverse MCU, like with only Battleworld or a Battleworld universe left. They want to do a lot of crazy Elseworld stuff, and that would be freaking awesome. So maybe you have your Avengers 5, which does destroy the multiverse completely at one point, and then after that, during that year of waiting for Avengers 6, we get a ton of other projects that are also on that Battleworld. That would be freaking awesome. But one thing we know for sure is that there are long-standing rumors of scenes in Secret Wars where the multiversal group of Avengers goes to important moments in time from the old Fox movies in the same way that the Avengers went to important moments within the MCU in the time heist in Avengers Endgame. This is a really good story engine to have a little nostalgia, to revisit these cool moments from the past and add in some new flavor and context. They did that for Avengers Endgame. It was fantastic, and we've heard that this has been on Feige's mind for years. He wants to go into some of these old big Fox X-Men, Fox Fantastic Four movies and bring characters to go help fight against the Beyonder, and that is probably still a huge thing that he wants to do. And I think these will be things that happen in Avengers 6, although it could be the case that now Feige has kind of moved some of that into Avengers 5. And there's also been a very long-standing rumor that Feige wants another portal scene like he had in Avengers Endgame, and in this scene, you would have all the characters you can possibly think of from past Marvel projects showing up and fighting against Kang, fighting against the Beyonder, fighting against maybe all these multiversal villains, but that sequence has long been on the mind of Kevin Feige. And I don't know if it'll be exactly like the portal scene. Like, I don't even know if you're going to have portals. Maybe you have TVA portals popping up. I'm not really sure. But the point is, he's thinking of this huge battle, this huge fight sequence where even if it's just a small cameo of like a recognizable character that's fighting in the background, Feige wants to have as many dope Easter eggs and reference as many Marvel characters as possible in that scene. And I still think that is going to happen. And it feels like that's still going to be an anchoring moment in Avengers 6. So I think you're going to have the Earthbound Avengers kind of doing their thing, and you're gonna have Spider-Man doing his thing in Spider-Man 4 with like Kingpin and Daredevil and this whole no heroes allowed devil's reign type thing. And I think the Avengers themselves are going to have a story that goes from Captain America 4 all the way to World War Hulk. But then World War Hulk will essentially lead right into Avengers 5 when the multiverse really breaks open. And I think in Avengers 5, you're gonna have Doctor Strange, you're going to have Thor, you're gonna have Tom Holland Spider-Man. And I do think you'll have multiversal Avengers like Hugh Jackman Wolverine. I think it's very likely you'll have Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And I do think you'll get Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man for that film. And from there, it is going to get absolutely crazy. And I'm still super excited for all this stuff. I've been thinking about it for years. I'm so hyped up on what I think Secret Wars can be. And I think in some ways, despite all of the changes and despite a lot of weirdness going on with Marvel currently, I think once we start getting into the meat of these stories and in this actual lead up to Secret Wars, I think things are going to return to form and it's going to be freaking epic for us as fans. So let me know your thoughts about that in the comments section below. And as I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.